so there you have it. There's a little background info on Josh Wolf. And joining us now via Skype is Mr. Josh Wolf himself. Josh, thanks for joining us on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, so people just saw a little background clip there, obviously. Now, what was your experience like in prison? You were there 7 months. Can you just share with the people a little bit about, what your experiences were, not only personally and some struggles that you had with, but also with, the authorities and just how the process of the law worked and what you learned while you were behind bars for 7 months?
All right. Well, the first thing that needs to be pointed out is that if they're going to send a journalist to jail, they're going to send a journalist to the best jail they can find, because they don't want me reporting about how horrible the conditions at some facilities are. And they are quite horrible at many of the facilities I've heard about. So I got the not quite club fed, but it was clean. The guards treated you with respect. There was a lot of bureaucracy I encountered, but more than anything else, it was boring. If you're used to being able to check your email, make phone calls when you want to, suddenly no computer access, no very little typewriter access, 300 minutes of phone a month. You can't buy more minutes. It's not like that's included in your plan. 300 and that's it. And so I had a lot of time to spend reading, thinking about what was going on in the world, writing, and that pretty much was my life for those 7.5 months.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a very good time. Now, what led you to actually going to jail was your firm belief that there is a freedom on the internet that needs to be protected, and you felt that you were being violated by being forced to turn over footage as a photojournalist that you had captured. How important do you think the net is with regards to freedom of speech and the free press on the net?
Well, the net is an important element for free speech because unlike other forms of publication, which have publishers and various gatekeepers, you are your own gatekeeper. If you want to put something out online, you can go ahead and do it, and you don't have to worry about corporate influence and that sort of thing. But it wasn't really the videotape that was so critical in this case. It was the testimony. They wanted me to testify about the identities of the dissidents that attended that demonstration, and the tape really had nothing on it. I felt I shouldn't have to turn over the tape, but at the end of the day, that was something that there was nothing on it. It was just bringing that out of principle. What I was really fighting for and what I was able to successfully fight was not having to go into the secret grand jury without an attorney there, without a judge there, and have to answer whatever questions the U.S. attorney decided to put forward to me.
Yeah, it's a pretty sketchy situation, especially when there's no sort of checks and balances or mediator there. It's just you and the secret grand jury, and they can ask you whatever they want. And, who knows how those answers will turn out and what's actually just.
Right. It's like a military tribunal. It really is something that needs to be reformed and not completely abolished.
All right. Let's talk about a discussion forum that is happening tomorrow via Amnesty International. You guys can check this out. It's amnestyinternational.org.uk/webcast. And what this is, it is some people think the internet is a bad thing as far as freedom of speech goes. And there's this huge worldwide broadcast forum happening tomorrow at 18:30 GMT, which translates to 10:30 a.m. Pacific tomorrow morning, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Can you talk a little bit about this Amnesty International event and how you're involved with it?
Well, I was recently asked to speak at it. There's a lot of really great people that are going to be speaking. It's a huge conference. We've got Martha Lane Fox from Last Minute, Clark Boyd from the BBC. Just the list goes on and on. Jimmy Wales, who started Wikipedia, is going to also be contributing something. And basically the whole thing is around this resistance to the internet. The internet provides all sorts of freedoms, political freedoms, cultural freedoms, and there's always going to be some resistance. Now, in the U.S., where probably most of the viewers here are, we have it fairly good. But in China, you try to search certain websites, and the next thing you know, Yahoo's turning over the records of what you were looking at and who you are. So the battle for a free internet really may seem like it's been won in the U.S., but that's deceptive compared to the situation in the rest of the world. So that's what it's about. It should be a good time. It's 10:30 in the morning Pacific time, about 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, New York's time. It's definitely something that should be interesting, and that's one of the reasons I'm here to talk today.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm definitely going to be tuning in, and all our viewers out there, I encourage you to do the same. the internet is something that needs to be protected. And in case you guys don't know, the Big Brother people are trying to confine more and more your search results, your search terms that you're looking for, and turning them over to certain people. And obviously, there's a certain extent that is a good thing when it comes to, child pornography and stalking and things of that nature. But for general internet use, it should be free and protected under our freedom of the Constitution. Don't you agree?
I totally agree, and while it's important to bring people that are engaging in child pornography to justice, the idea of tracking everyone to go after them specifically has a lot of dangers involved, because what if the government decides to just go after everyone that's looking at, say, Mania TV?
That would be a bad thing.
Yeah.
All right, Josh. Well, hey, I appreciate you joining us. Actually, before we go here, let's talk a little bit about prisonblog.net. Now, I know you're a big advocate of this, especially since you spent 7 months behind bars. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so while I was incarcerated, I ran into a couple other guys that had blogs while they were in jail. And of course, I was maintaining my blog by typing or writing things out and sending them off to my dad to type up. And I was like, how come everyone can't have a blog? So I worked with my father, and we started an organization called prisonblogs.net. So we're trying to team various people who are incarcerated with sponsors on the outside who will agree to type up what they say, send it out, and that way anyone, whether you're in the military, whether you're a normal individual, or whether you're in prison, can maintain your own blog. And I just think that's a really great opportunity to get the word out around what's going on outside of the prison gates.
Oh, it's an important tool for you to have, especially if you're back there. You got to have some communication with the outside world. Well, Josh, thank you very much for joining us. Looking forward to the conference tomorrow. Again, the web address that you guys can check it out is amnesty.org.uk/webcast. So, Josh, thank you very much, and I applaud your efforts. And a lot of respect goes out to you for actually standing up for what you believe in and spending 7 months behind bars for something that really affects a lot of people, not just yourself. So thank you very much for that.
And thank you, Trey. Thank